Hello everyone, apologies for the late start. My partner was coming home, so I took a little bit of time to greet them when they got home. But we're back now. Welcome back to APPF1 Tier 2 for today's race. Round number 2 of this 10 race season around Australia. And we've got a wet qualifying just like we had in Tier 3 yesterday. But it sounds like we'll have a full dry race. So interesting start to this session for sure. RJ Blair currently on a fast lap. I think Scott has backed off, so we'll ride on board with RJ instead as he heads all the way down towards turn number 9. Oh, very, very cautious into turn 9 and turn 10. Equally so as he heads down towards the final sector now. He's going to be the first to get a time on the board. Brakes at about the 100-meter board for turn 13, and so slippy on the exit though for RJ as he heads through the final few corners now. Just 2 more to go. Very hard to get the traction out of this left-hander, and you can see it there, and hard to keep the traction all the way through this final corner as well. RJ, a struggle for his first run, but on the timing sheets it's going to be a 1 minute 30.2, and I'm sure that will be swiftly beaten as more laps come in. We know Scott backed out of his lap. He's actually even gone into the pits. So right on board with Pepito instead, the Bulgarian in the McLaren. He's been somewhat impressive on his debut season here in APP. He's been racing in Tier 3 and 2. He even had a reserve go in Tier 1 the other week. But he goes to P2, 6/10 behind RJ. So actually that time from RJ not looking too bad after all, as Koru can only manage 2/10 away. Cavalis 1.5 away. We've got Triku Badayak back on circuit as well after he had to miss round 1. Kevin 129.193, a long way clear of RJ. But the big hitters in Tier 2, or the other big hitters in Tier 2, are yet to get on the board as of yet. Sumo Gilligan is one of them. He heads through down towards turn 10. Tier up to P2 now as Sumo heading into turn 9 and 10. Cuts turn 10 masterfully. Very nicely done from Sumo. He's got a lovely pink helmet for this season as Enchilada Dad goes to P3. He got a very well-deserved podium last week, but Sumo now coming into the last sector. Robsu 4/10 away. Wow! Robsu, who's usually struggling in qualifying, he is up to P2. Can he sort out his qualifying struggles of the last 2 years on this year's game? Let's find out. He got pole yesterday in Tier 3. Here he is in second place. Sumo Gilligan though to the line. It's only a 31.1 from the British driver. He's a long, long way down. It's great to see Denko as well out on track for the first time in a little while. After he's only signed up as a reserve for this season. So good to see him back on circuit. Drogon as well, reserving today again, as Triku Badayak was a lot slower than Sumo in the middle sector. But Jacko goes to P4 on his next effort. So the laps are coming down. Rick says, pole Ench, podium Ench Triku Jack is his prediction. I think that's going to be... well, that might be a little way off unless Enchilada can find some pace in this qualifying session. As JB heading through Sector 1 as well. True Loki God has invalidated, so let's see what Denko can do. Rubialski as well on a lap. Keep an eye on him, as I think that was... I'm not sure who that was that just improved. I think it might have been... Lawrence to P9, or maybe Koru. I'm not sure, but Loki God... obviously invalidating. Denko going to P12, and we have 13 laps in so far. Rubialski 50.8 in Sector 3 Sector 2 is not bad at all as he heads through now into the final sector. Just a few corners left to go for the McLaren driver. He's got the Alpine of, I think that's Aces. No, it's not. It's the other Alpine. Who's in the other Alpine? Lawrence, of course, just ahead of him through the final corner. Might give him some dirty air here, but Rubialski is going to have to cope with it as he heads to the line. It's a 30.4, so he's actually quite a way off still. Popito, though, goes to second place. The laps are coming in fast now. Jackalacco to P3. Koru at 28.5 from the Mercedes driver. And the track is going to continue to evolve as the session goes on. Kevin's 3.5 tenths up in the middle sector, but he's still nowhere near Koru unless he can find a lot of time here. And he has done a 28.3 from last week's race winner. Puts him back onto provisional pole. True Loki God having another go at a lap as well. 50.6, that'll put him about mid-grid as it stands. But the track is still evolving, still getting better to drive on for these intermediate tyres as the session wears on. Only 9 minutes to go. Already halfway through this thrilling qualifying session. It's going to be very, very interesting in the last few minutes. Triku Badayak goes to P3, meanwhile, as Loki goes to 6th place. He'll be happy with that. Decent effort from the Haas driver. But more and more laps coming in. Robsu, 6 tenths up in the middle sector. Down to the line he goes. Scott goes to 6th. Robsu goes to 3rd. And the laps continue to tumble down as the drivers get more to grips with this circuit. Nemesis is still in the pits, by the way. So I don't know when he's going to be heading out on circuit. But Aces right now on a lap in Sector 1. We've got Triku. No, it was Lawrence to P5. Just improving. While we weren't watching him, we've got Rubialski coming through the final corner as well, but he's not on a lap right now. JB, no front left end plate. He is struggling at the moment in this session. He struggled last week as well. Did JB? He didn't have a good time at all. But his struggles look like they might be continuing. Kiernan showing complete faith in Koru that he will still bottle this race despite this good showing so far in qualifying, but long way to go of course, with dry conditions planned for the race by the looks of things. Ace is coming through, but he's backed out of this one, and he's right just going up behind the Aston Martin. I assume that's Scott just ahead of him in the final sector there. Denko to the line, but not improving. True Loki God, not improving either. They're just on cool-down laps as Robsu heads into the pit lane. RJ Blair 1.1 seconds up, and the Tier 3 race winner in Texas last week is coming to the line now, and it's a 28.6 to put himself onto the second row, just ahead of Robsu, the man who defeated him yesterday on this very circuit in Tier 3. They finished 1-2 in the other order yesterday. And Robsu absolutely bossed that race from start to finish. He was simply supreme compared to the rest of the Tier 3 grid. Popito goes to P4, continues to improve, continues to impress for 1 lap pace. It's just that race consistency that I think Popito needs to work on, and he will know that as Scott goes very, very wide there on the exit of turn 4. That won't have helped his cause, as he's half a second down indeed on his previous run, and is going to back out of that one. Triku Badayak, though, goes to provisional pole, and that is more like it from the Czech driver who was so strong last season in qualifying and in race trim as well on several occasions. And well, we're yet to see what he can do with F125, but clearly he's not lost any of that skill he had last season. Loki got to the line, looking decent. Up to P7 he goes. Half-second improvement, but Triku, 4 tenths ahead of Kevin right now. And the laps are going to keep coming in. RJ just getting out the way of a couple of Williams drivers there, I believe. Lawrence into the pit lane as Tier heading through 7.5 tenths up on his previous best. Scott just coming through to start his next run. Aces to the top 10. The laps are gonna come in very quickly here. I'm gonna struggle to keep up with them all. Rubialski into the pits. He should just about have enough time to get out again, but it will be a little bit close possibly. I can't tell because I can't see the clock right now because of the yellow flag, but Let's see Kevin coming through the first sector right now, and Tier now goes to pole position. He loves a bit of rain, does the Williams driver. A 27.904 from Tier is just enough to surpass Triku for now, but more and more drivers are going to start doing their final runs. 5 minutes to go, so actually plenty of time still in this session. Koru's 2.5 tenths up in the Mercedes. What about Kevin? As he comes through sector 1, he's half a second up already, and Kevin is looking like he's going to be back to provisional pole if he can see out this lap. He is flying in that Red Bull at the moment, and we might see some calls for a bit of a promotion for him into tier 1. I'm not sure what we do because both tiers are full right now, but we'll have to think about that later on. His teammate Nemesis, meanwhile, who was a very strong second place last week, is languishing down in 15th. JB is nearly a second up on his previous best, but it's only going to be enough for 19th. Sumo's down there in 19th as well. They're both really struggling right now in these conditions. Aces to P3, but Kevin 7.5 tenths up in the middle sector. This is going to be a fantastic time from the Dutch driver through the final corner, and it's a 27.1. Destroys the entire rest of the field. I think definitely going to be calls for a promotion for him before long. JB goes to 17th, but he'll still be very disappointed with that so far. Sumo's a second up in the first sector though. See what he can do. 3.5 minutes left to go in this session. Plenty of time for things still to change. Robsu, no, that's Enchilada to second place. Big lap from the season 15 champion, as he gets himself back on the front row once again. Tier, I think, currently on a cooldown lap, as Koru has invalidated. Aces, not on a lap right now. Jackalacko barely up on his previous best, even with the track evolution. As Robsu now goes to pole, that will stifle the calls, I think, for a promotion for Kevin. Who knows how the race is going to go, but I have no idea who's going to get pole here. Robsu is absolutely flying on this circuit this week. Sumo Gilligan through the final corner and to the line. I'll explain it later, Alex, when quali's over. He goes into the top 10, much better from Sumo, but he's still quite a way off. He'll have one more go on these set of tyres after this cooldown lap that he's currently on. Scott, no improvement. Jacko, 4 tenths down. Koru, invalidated. Tier, invalidated as well. Kevin, one more go for him as well, I think. Or is he going to save a bit more ERS, because he's only got 65%. So I think another cooldown lap for Kevin is incoming before his last attempt. Lawrence currently down in 15th as well. Plenty more laps to come. Nemesis 1.2 seconds up. This is a lot more like it from Nemesis in the Red Bull. As he comes through the final corner and down to the line, it's a 28.4 to put him into 9th place, but it's nowhere near the front in terms of pure time, at least. Koru through the middle sector as well. Plenty of laps coming in. I'm going to try and keep track of them all. I'll do my very, very best as Denko starts his surely to be final run, but he's got a Mercedes directly in front of him, which is not going to help. Does Julie get out the way, so he'll be thankful for that. But yeah, if that Mercedes was on a lap, that would have been a tough break for Denko. Enchilada invalidated, so he's going to get one more run after this cooldown lap. Let's see what the Ferraris are doing. Sumo going for one last effort as well. We've got an Alpine coming across the line. I'm trying to keep track. I'm trying. Scott goes to P3. It's Aston Martin. There's a Haas just behind. I think that was Loki starting his final run. Jackalacko to the line. What's it going to be? It's P2 for the Scottish driver, the season 10 champ. Will be very happy with that indeed. 2.5 tenths away from Robsu. Kevin starting his final run. Who's going to get pole? Who can possibly say at this point? This is going to be anyone's game for pole position here in these kinds of conditions. Pepito will be devastated with that. He's had such strong strong pace so far today, but an invalidation at turn 2. Tier has retired. I think that's in the pit lane as RJ went to P6 with what is sure to be his final run. Plenty of others though. Loki God, is that in the Haas? No, it was Denko to P6. He'll be delighted with that. Lawrence coming through, as well as Aces on an outlap. He's going to get one last go as well. Is Robsu on a lap right now? Yes, he is. He's half a second up. The Finnish driver, who's been struggling in qualifying for 2 years, comes to the line for an outrageous 26.6. He lost a lot of time, actually, in the final sector, so he'll be gutted with that if he doesn't get pole. Lawrence, 7.5 tenths up. What can he do to the line? The two-time Tier 2 champion goes pole! Oh, my goodness, where's he pulled that out from? Tenko down in P7. It's true. Loki got actually coming to the line. What can he do? 27.6. It's enough for 7th place. There's plenty more drivers though. Jackalacco, not enough to improve. Koru goes to P4. Here comes Kevin. He's 3 tenths up in the middle sector and he's pole position. 26.4. He's stolen it off Lawrence, but there's more cars coming and the track's getting better and better. Can JB spring a surprise? No, he stays down in 14th. Cavalis to the line and he's invalidated. Disaster for the Lithuanian. He will be in last place. Rubialski with no front wing. As Drogon comes through as well. Nemesis to the line, only 13th. Denko not improving. Enchilada Dad, only P6 for him. And Scott's invalidated. So that is going to be that. An absolutely breakneck qualifying there, as it was not clear right to the end who would get pole. Lawrence pulled something out the bag right at the end, out of nowhere, but Kevin in the end, he looked the fastest over the course of the session, and he delivered on a second consecutive pole position in Tier 2. Wow, what a session that was. Apparently it's going to be dry during the race, Alex. Well then, it is Kevin who takes pole position once again in Tier 2 with Lawrence alongside him on the front row. What a lap from him. Robsu, P3 as well, with Jackalacco in 4th. Then it's Koru, Enchilada Dad for the row 3. Scott, True Linky God, Denko and RJ make up the rest of the top 10 with Tier, Triku, Nemesis, Aces, JB, Sumo, huge hitters in Tier 2. Triku, Nemesis, Aces, JB, Sumo, 12th to 16th respectively. Pepito 17th. And it's Rubialski, Drogon and Cavalis at the back. A topsy-turvy qualifying session, and with a dry race. Well, I've heard it's a dry race. I think Denko said it was going to be a dry race, but... yes, it's looking dry at the moment, but maybe it will rain later. Just to answer your question from earlier, Alex, Twitch and not YouTube, because I stream the commentary for PSGL now in PSF2. I didn't used to. It used to be Daka who streamed it, and I would just commentate alongside. But now I'm the one who streams it, and it is such a pain to log out and back in to YouTube channels on PlayStation on my PlayStation. So I'm not going to bother with that, and instead we'll have it here on Twitch. I also just prefer streaming on Twitch, to be honest. It's a better experience, I find. So, and I can upload. I will be uploading all the VODs from Twitch to YouTube. Later, I just need to make a thumbnail for round 1, and then that will be uploaded. So don't panic. You won't lose these streams just because they're on Twitch. I will re-upload them to YouTube, so all good. Well then, a full grid in Tier 2 is going to head off to Turn 1 in Australia. What's going to happen here? 3, 4, 5, red lights. And we're underway for the Australian Grand Prix. It's a great start from Kevin for the second week in a row from pole position. Lawrence under pressure from Robsu into turn one, but Lawrence keeps that second place for now. Robsu slots in behind. A lot of cars going 2x2 further back. We've got yellow flags. That sumo round again early on in this race. Aces doing 2x2 with JB, Nemesis and Triku down to turn 3. Is that going to end well? Oh no, it's not. There's a McLaren round. That's Pepito, and Drogon goes straight on at turn 3. No idea what's happened there, but it's Kevin who leads with... let's get everything enabled here. There we go, with Lawrence still in P2, but look at the gap that the Red Bulls pulled already. I think definitely there's going to be some calls for promotion for him. But Jackalacco putting Robsu under pressure already down towards turn number 9. He backs out of it, but Robsu is under heavy pressure at the moment. The Aston Martin driver using some ERS, but he's going to stick behind him for now. We've got RJ and Koru battling as well further back. RJ on the inside. He pulls to the racing line. He's got Scott going down the inside of Nemesis, meanwhile, who's up a position in this race. The Alpine of Aces ghosting through each other. Nemesis and Scott come to blows as they head through the last sector here, and Nemesis, or Scott is round rather. I don't know, it's hard to say from the view that I had. I only get to see it once, but it did look like Nemesis was there to me. But I'm sure the stewards will have a look at it. What a start for Rubialski, by the way, up 6 positions. Cavalis up 5, and RJ Blair up 3 positions. So great starts for those 3 drivers, but especially Rubialski, and Cavalis from the back as well, up to 15th. He'll be happy with that. But Rubialski finding his way through the grid already. Let's have a quick look at tyres. Most of the grid starting on the hards, with only Denko and Triku chancing it for the mediums. RJ and Loki now battling as they head through the middle sector. That's RJ getting through past the Haas driver. RJ a little bit laggy as usual, but hopefully still raceable for everyone else on circuit. Yes, the engine sounds different. I have the engine sound on cockpit mode because I find it more pleasant on the ears when I'm driving, and I always forget to change it for the streams, so apologies for that. But RJ a little bit wide there. Well, I say a little bit, completely off track through turn 12, but he gets it under control and keeps the position for now, with True Loki God just behind. He can't make the move though. Kevin now setting the fastest lap at the front. He looks like he's going to waltz to this race win, as Denko now down the inside of Koru into turn 1. It's a great move from the Greek driver, and Koru is going to have to just take that one on the chin. No chance to get back at him because he's got to look at Tia behind him instead. Round the outside goes the Williams driver. There's a McLaren and Red Bull side by side for the back. That's Jacko is round. Oh no! Meanwhile, further ahead, and now has joined the pack, the Scottish driver down to 9th place. He's managed to recover, but so many positions lost thanks to that little spin. I'm not sure if there was contact or what, but either way, he is down to 9th now as Tia also goes off. A lot of mistakes happening early on in this race. Kevin is a long way clear of everyone else already, as Robsu now challenging Lawrence for 2nd place. Jacko already with the track limits penalty. That will be the first of many, I'm sure, as they head through the final sector for the 3rd time. Robsu just sticking with Lawrence for now. He was right behind him, heading down towards turn 9 on this lap, but obviously the dirty air loses him that time, and a big snap of oversteer there by the looks of it. He slid through the final corner there in the background. But he manages to hold on, and it's a V-carb 3-4 at the moment. A brilliant start to the race for them. Kiernan still very confident that Koru is going to bottle it. He is down a few positions, as Kiernan has pointed out. He's down 3 positions from the start, but he's still not doing too bad at the moment, Koru. He was quite annoyed with himself last week. He does have front right end plate damage as well, to be fair. Let's be fair to him. Not sure where he picked that up, but it can't be easy to drive around this track, especially corners like that. Yeah, he was quite mad at himself last week, caused a couple of incidents, but I think it's just a bit of rustiness, and I'm sure he'll be back to form Well, if not today, then very soon. As Jacko and Nemesis now battling it out just behind, but Nemesis backs out of that one. Stop defending him, says Kiernan. I have to be unbiased, Kiernan. You can be as biased as you want in the chat, but I will be fair to all the drivers. As Lawrence still holding on to second place for now. 3 seconds to Kevin. I'm just going to ignore Kevin with the assumption he's going to get promoted to Tier 1. So for now, let's just focus on this battle for P2. Robsu with the DRS down towards turn 1, but he's not close enough on this occasion. Lawrence keeping him at bay as he needs to through sector 3, but Nemesis is making a move on the inside of Jackalacko, and it's a great overtake from the Red Bull driver who finished in second place last week. Today, maybe looking a little more towards the middle of the pack, with everyone so close in this race so far, except for Kevin. There's yellow flags. I think that's for Aces further back. Disastrous start for Aces, JB, Drogon, and of course Scott with that incident with Nemesis earlier on. Cavalis the next victim of track limits, but here comes Robsu now around the outside of Lawrence, and he gets the move done. Lovely stuff from the VCARB driver. He's up to second place, but now he's got to contend with the DRS from Lawrence behind as Koru makes up a place on Denko. There you go. Welcome to the stream, Denko fans. There is your man. He's back on circuit, and it's lovely to see. But on those medium tyres, he's going to be struggling in a few laps on this first stint, because those mediums do not last long at all. Enchilada, though, right behind Lawrence now as well. Can he make any sort of move into turn 1? Not with the DRS train the way it is, as Denko loses another place. Meanwhile, Nemesis getting his way through up to 8th place, continuing his climb up the grid. 5 positions now from his 13th place qualifying, which you probably would have been quite disappointed with. But he's making amends now, and with Koru looking vulnerable up ahead, I think that's going to be another move made for Nemesis pretty shortly. As Robsu leading Lawrence. Is Lawrence close enough to make any sort of move into turn 9? I don't think so. No, even with the DRS, he's way too far back, but RJ isn't, as he looks to make a move on Enchilada. Round the outside goes the American driver and sweeps around turn 9. It's a lovely move from RJ Blair, and he is up to 4th place. Enchilada just going to have to take that one on the chin, as Lawrence having a little look on the inside of Robsu, but chooses not to send it on this occasion. We've got more battles further back. Rubialski and Denko swapping places nearly. Denko just about defending it for now, but the McLaren driver on the warpath, as Popito and Cavalis also battling it out. Yellow flags, I think that was for Sumo spinning further back, unfortunately for him. So he's lost yet more ground in this race, as, like we said, Nemesis making another move. I think he has quite a low downforce setup. He seems to be blitzing people on the straights right now, does Nemesis, and maybe sacrificing grid position in qualifying with that wet session that it was for straight line speed in this dry race. And at the moment it looks like it is paying off, but still a lot more places to go if he wants to match his last week's position of 2nd place. Scott's around further back, more yellow flags. It's Sumo, Scott, Aces, JB and Drogon having a race to forget at the moment, but the DRS train continues further ahead, as RJ is just behind Lawrence now, looking to make more progress. So an incident with Cavalis, well, that's certainly one to speak of. Those two do not have the best of histories, I have to say, as Popito is now round as well into turn 9. I noticed him battling with Cavalis, so it could be another victim of the Sauber driver, as it were. Rubialski now spinning, looking like maybe an incident with the other Sauber as well. The Saubers just seem to be leaving chaos in their wake at the moment. Oh, as that's Tier, dear oh dear, in the background there, losing the rear as he locks up into the penultimate corner, and Cavalis just didn't have anywhere to go. A lot of mistakes happening from a lot of drivers so far this race. Sumo into the pits, presumably for a new front wing. as Robsu continues to hold off Lawrence. RJ struggling for grip on the exit there of turn number 3. But no way through for Enchilada Dad. You can see the medium tyres are starting to fall away now. Denko and Triku just don't seem to have the same pace now as the drivers in front of them. But luckily for them, Rubialski is a decent distance back. And that time penalty is going to be even worse news for Denko at this moment in time. RJ now looking for another move, and that was Loki and Nemesis making contact on the way down towards turn 9. I've no idea how they survived that. That could have been very ugly. And now Nemesis looking for the move on the inside. Look at the straight line speed for the Red Bull driver, and Loki goes into the back of him, unfortunately into the braking zone, and loses a part of his front wing. A lot of damage happening, and that's Koru trying to make his way through. More contact, more front wing damage flying off as Loki peels into the pit lane, unsurprisingly. Jacko now trying to make his way past Koru down to turn 1. I don't think he has the straight line speed, does he? Here he goes, looks to the inside, but he's not close enough, does not send it, and just lives to fight another day. But a lot of contact happening, and to be honest, guys, Tier 3 was a lot cleaner than this so far. And they were in full wet conditions nearly, as Jacko makes a move on Koru but goes way too deep, and Koru's all too happy to take that position back from him. So a bit of an uncharacteristic error there from Jackalacco as he heads through into the middle part of the circuit. DRS open again. It's going to be for the Aston Martin. Can he make a move this time? Is he close enough? Here comes the overspeed, but Koru's got the straight line speed in terms of the setup, and Jacko backs out of it. Triku goes through on Denko, and he's up to 9th place. Denko really struggling on those mediums as Jacko finally, does he make the move on the Mercedes of Koru? I think he does. No switchback this time for Koru, and that is the Season 11 Tier 2 champion up to 7th place. Triku going to be looking to follow along, but Koru peels into the pits and makes it easy for him. Denko follows him in, unsurprisingly, given how much he seemed to be struggling on his tyres. As now Lawrence still following along with Robsu. It's been very calm up front, I think. As soon as you get into the top 5, it's been quite calm, but everyone behind them has been utter carnage, really. Nemesis has caught up to this train, and his straight line speed is going to be a big problem for these guys. I don't know if they're going to be able to live with it. Excuse me. As we're about to find out just how good it is. DRS is going to be enabled for everyone in this train, but look at the closing speed for Nemesis. He's using all his ERS, to be fair, but he's still closing by quite some distance. He looks to the outside line on Enchilada Dad and gets the move done, does he? There's contact, and Enchilada loses the rear slightly thanks to the contact, but just about keeps it pointed in the right direction. But that was a little bit dicey there between the two of them. I don't know if space was left. I'm sure that'll be one for the stewards later. But Robsu now 5.7 behind Kevin, but he's going to be much more interested in keeping Lawrence behind. There is a time penalty on the lead car in the Red Bull, but I don't think it's going to be enough to really make any difference to the race result, unless we get a very late safety car, which is very possible the way Tier 2 is driving at the moment, guys. I do wish this was a little cleaner as a league admin. It's great as a spectator, but yeah, Tier 2, I think, getting a little too carried away so far this race, as Nemesis has RJ just ahead of him. And Sumo's engineer, apparently, according to Alex in the chat, says that there's 10 to 15 minutes until rain. So it will be quite late in the race if it does happen. Probably towards lap 24 or so, I would say, something like that. So this is going to be a real dilemma, actually, for the drivers towards the end. Is it going to get wet enough to put the inters on, or can they extend the slicks all the way through it to the end of the race? So fascinating conclusion to the race is already set up as Robsu heads through the final sector. Lawrence still just duly following on behind, as is RJ. Nemesis now up into the top 5. He's got RJ just ahead now. He's saved up plenty of ERS. He's going to use it all down towards turn 1, but he's actually flicked off that button once again. Not feeling like he's close enough on this occasion, but he's looking very quick in that Red Bull at the moment. Bielski, meanwhile, about a second behind Triku, just trying to follow along with the Kicksauber driver. Triku's still staying out on those mediums. Is he trying to make it to the rain, I wonder? Surely not. There's no way he can get the mediums that far. I refuse to believe it. Koru, meanwhile, sending the fastest lap further back on fresh mediums, so going for the 2-stop in this race if there is rain to come, and it is going to be enough to warrant putting the inters on. And actually that rain's going to make things even more interesting here as JB tries to make a move on Aces, who goes very deep, and JB sweeps around the outside. But yeah, do these guys extend the hards all the way to the rain? It's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky if 10 to 15 minutes is to be believed. That is a long way still to go on these hard tyres. And on this new game, the tyre wear a lot more pronounced, a lot more difficult to deal with, as I think Nemesis now is going to be able to make a move. He's looking to the outside. RJ pulls to the inside to try and defend, but look at the straight line speed from Nemesis. He sweeps around the outside, and he is up to 4th place now. That low downforce setup really paying dividends for the Red Bull driver, as Triku does indeed head into the pit lane for a set of hard tyres. I didn't think there was any way he'd be able to extend those mediums, as Ench also coming in, by the way, for mediums, and as a result he's come out just ahead of Koru. So the undercut working wonders for the cars behind, and if the guys in front do have to stop here, then they might be in a bit of trouble if they leave it too long, because these guys who've gotten the undercut have got a lot more pace and they've found a lot of time. Enchilada just over a second ahead of Koru. It's not a lot in it at all. And the gap was definitely bigger than that when Koru came in. Meanwhile, these 4 drivers continuing to behave themselves at the moment. Kevin stays out another lap. Do any of them come in? No, they're all staying out. They're all too scared to come in at this point, as RJ has a big slide out the final corner, and those tyres clearly are not the happiest. Big mistake from RJ. Nemesis not close enough to make a move on Lawrence, but he did think about it, as RJ losing 2 seconds to the rest of the pack. He'll be disappointed with that, as Nemesis again looking for the inside on Lawrence, but he's too far behind again. And I think Lawrence and Robsu are going to pose him quite a challenge, even with his low downforce setup, because both those drivers have driven expertly so far today. As Tia and Loki side by side through turn 1. Oh dear, Loki was still there on the outside, and Tia just understeered off the circuit. And Loki God letting Triku through there. He's down to 15th and Triku up to P14. But Tia a little bit overboard there, as Lawrence now DRS open for the Alpine driver. Is he going to be able to make a move for 2nd place? Not on this occasion. He stays behind once again. He's all too happy to stay with Robsu for now, and maybe make a move later on in the race when it really matters. But when the rain comes, it's going to be even more difficult to overtake, you would think, because there'll be no DRS. So it's a tricky spot for Lawrence to be in, as Nemesis now again looking to the inside with that straight line speed, but not able to make a move. Lawrence practically pushing Robsu through turns 1 and 2, but loses the rear through 2, and this could be the opportunity Nemesis was looking for, but he's run out of ERS at the crucial moment, and he'll have to stay behind once again. Enchilada now setting the fastest lap on those medium tyres. He's got Denko for company. He's just gotten past him, I think, into 10th place. And now hunting down Scott, and Ench has got some serious pace on these tyres right now, but Is it going to be enough to catch back up before the rain? That's the question. Are these guys going to have to pit? Because if they do, then Ench is going to be in a wonderful position when the rain does come. Nemesis now looking to the outside, using every last bit of his ERS. Lawrence brakes late as he dares to keep him behind, but Nemesis has backed out anyway. And they continue to go single file through here. Lawrence thinking about it again, but not close enough. 5 minutes until the rain, it says Sumo's engineer. Thank you, Alex, in the chat. So the rain is coming pretty soon, and if that 5 minutes is to be believed, then we will be getting on to intermediates, I believe, because there's no way the slicks will be able to go all the way to the end unless it's very, very light rain. Enchilada making another place, meanwhile, up to 9th place now. And Cavalis is next on his list. Cavalis has been involved in a couple of incidents today, so Ench won't know that, of course, but he might need to be a little bit careful overtaking the Sauber. Zdenko down towards turn 1, not close enough on this occasion to Scott, but maybe down towards turn 3 he can make a move instead, but there's DRS for the Aston Martin. Crucially, to keep the Haas behind. Nemesis with a mistake by the looks of things there out of turn number 6. Just about survived though, as he's still within DRS of Lawrence and Robsu, but these three at the moment looking the class of the field, with the exception of Kevin, of course, but we're kind of ignoring him really. As Enchilada making another move. He caught up to Cavalis awfully quickly, and he makes the move, dispatches of him very efficiently. Up to 8th place for the Irish driver now, but it's 6.5 seconds up the road to Rubialski. It's still a long way for Enchilada to catch, and the rain is coming soon to halt his progress. So big moments here for Ench. He's got to put in some qualifying laps to get himself back into this race. He took the gamble of pitting for the mediums, and he's going to have to be very, very much on it to make it work. Nemesis, meanwhile, again, just having to stick behind Lawrence. These three drivers having a brilliant race so far. We've got Denko getting back past Scott, meanwhile, into turn 1. Can Scott get him back into 3? Doesn't look like it. So that is a place for the Greek driver. Koru, meanwhile, on his 7-lap-old mediums, now starting to struggle, I think. And I think maybe, well, I mean, I was about to say starting to regret it, but he kind of had to come in. He had wing damage, so he didn't really have too much choice. Tricky race so far for Koru, and unfortunately for him, it looks like Kianan's prediction is going to come true. As Lawrence, again, right behind Robsu. I think these three are just following with each other at the moment. They're perfectly content with the way things are. RJ's dropped back another couple of seconds since losing the DRS, so he is struggling for pace at the moment in his Ferrari as Nemesis peels in. Into the pits comes Nemesis. RJ follows him. So this is a big decision from these two drivers. Jacko staying out. The rain is on its way. It's inters for Nemesis, and there is the rain. I just saw it on screen. But is this too early? It might well be. Enchilada is going to be well clear as a result for now, but it still looks completely dry at the moment. But the rain is coming down. It's earlier than I thought it would be. Cavalis also taking the plunge, as is Sumo. Why not? Why not take a gamble when you're in Sumo's position? But Nemesis now on those inters. Let's ride on board, see how he's doing. Temp and Scott coming to blows further ahead. But Nemesis very deep into turn 3 there. And again in turn 4, struggling to get the car turned in. But I think those inters are going to be fired up before long. It might be the right time after all. 1.7 is the gap. 1.6. Yeah, I think it is the right time for Nemesis. Although Triku now has got a brilliant run on him down towards turn 9. And this isn't going to help the Red Bull's cause at the moment, being stuck behind a slick tyre runner if those inters are indeed quicker. Tier trying to make his way past as well, and Nemesis lets him go. Not willing to fight. just happy to let it happen for now. He goes way deep through turn 10. He is struggling for grip still on those intermediates. It's not quite time yet, but it's not far off. Robsu peels into the pits from lap 2. Martin Lobb in the chat thinks it's 1 or 2 laps too early. I would hesitate to agree. Maybe 1 lap too early. I think Robsu might have this spot on, you know. Enchilada finds his way through as a result after pitting earlier. We've got yellow flags. I'm not sure who that was for. I think it was the Alpine of Aces who's been lapped. But the tyres are all over the place here as Robsu comes out on the Inters just behind Koru. But of course, all these guys presumably are going to have to stop for the intermediate tyres at some point in the next lap or two. The rain is continuing to come down. It's not light enough for the slicks, I don't think. I think Robsu might have this spot on, but he's gotten caught behind Koru here as Nemesis sweeps around the outside of Tears to the inside for the next corner. Oh, and Tears in the wall! It's a disaster for Tier. Just lost the rear end, I think, on those slick tyres as he was trying to defend from Nemesis, and somehow Nemesis has gotten away without damage there. Robsu gets his way through on Koru as Tier goes round again at the next corner. Disaster for the Williams driver. He was having a decent race up to that point, as now RJ makes his way past Nemesis. So the Red Bull driver, he's come in a little early, but he's also gotten stuck behind some other drivers, and it's cost him position to RJ now. They're way behind Robsu, some 5 seconds behind, but a retirement has brought out the safety car. Loki has binned it somewhere. Yeah, that is turn 6 that Loki's binned it through turn 7. And that is a huge break for the people that haven't stopped yet. It's an incredible piece of luck for them. Koru and Triku coming in as well. Here comes Robsu down to turn 1, but he's not even going to get Lawrence here. Or is he? No, he is. He is. He's well ahead of Lawrence, actually, but certainly hasn't gotten Kevin. He's still P2. I still think he got it right, to be honest. I think Robsu came in on the correct lap, but the safety car is a huge boon for those drivers that didn't stop for the Inters up to that point. And Loki God, unfortunately, makes it 2 retirements in 2 days at this circuit. He's not a fan of the rain around here, I think it's safe to say. But Nemesis now, despite that setback, thanks to the safety car, he is going to be right up with the rest of them again. But remember, we've seen already from the first stint that Nemesis has a pretty low downforce setup on. And we saw his wet pace in qualifying wasn't great. He was down in 13th on the grid. So he could struggle here. A driver who was definitely one of the fastest cars on circuit in that dry stint. Now the rain is out. We might see him start to struggle again. And look as well who is also in trouble. Kevin, with that 3-second time penalty for track limits. This safety car now means he has to pull that 3 seconds back out again. We saw yesterday how strong Robsu is in these conditions on this circuit. He won that Tier 3 race at an absolute canter from the likes of RJ and LB. And here he is today in 2nd place with the race leader having a time penalty. It's a real opportunity here for the Finnish driver. It really, really is. Safety car will be out a while as well, which will doubly help Robsu. Every lap behind the safety car means fewer laps that Kevin gets to try and pull a gap. Fascinating conclusion to this race is in store. Keep it clean though, guys. Please keep it clean. Late safety cars in Tier 2 have a bit of a habit of causing some carnage. I think these conditions might make it a little better though. They're going to be less big dive bombs, I think, in the rain, because people will be a lot less willing to be late on the brakes. but still, it's going to be a big temptation for those drivers who are in the pack at the moment. And Alex rightly pointing out in the chat, look who's just in front of Sumo, Cavalis. They had an incident earlier in the race. They had plenty of incidents in the pre-season sprint championship as well, these two. Sumo, I think it's quite a one-sided rivalry. I think Cavalis is more in the I don't even know who you are camp when it comes to this little rivalry, but Sumo will definitely be thinking, goodness me, how am I right behind him again? This also brings Papito back into this race, as well as Drogon and JB potentially Aces as well. Hopefully the safety car stays out long enough for him to get back in the race, and maybe he can still nab a couple of points out of this one. Remember, in APPF1, it is, for those of you who might be new to the league, in the chat, it is points for the top 15 drivers in APPF1. So 20 points for winning the race, then 16 for second, 14 for third, 12 for fourth, and then 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way down to 15th, plus a point for the fastest lap if you're in the top 15. We haven't gotten rid of that rule just because F1 has. Why should we? So, is the safety car coming in this lap? Drogon retires. Safety car is in this lap, but I think Drogon has just binned it under safety car anyway. He has indeed. Look at that. In the wall. Only 3 wheels on that wagon. So that's a shame for Drogon. He only had another 7 laps to do. But safety car then in this lap. So I think JB will be able to catch up. But Aces might be left in the dark here unless Kevin does a very slow restart, which he might well do on the intermediate tyres. Safety car coming through the last couple corners now, and Kevin can choose to go as soon as that safety car peels into the pits. JB accidentally overtaking Papito there, and Aces looks like he is going to catch back up to the pack, so that's good to see. Aces back in the race as well. 18 cars ready to go for the last 7 laps of green flag racing in the rain here in Melbourne. Kevin gets us underway. Robsu stays with him through the final corner. Great restart from both of them. Lawrence hung out to dry a little bit, but still defending well from RJ as they head in single file down towards turn 1. No overtakes being made by the looks of things. Everyone perfectly happy to stick behind each other for now. Ace is about 2.5 seconds behind, so he wasn't quite able to catch up, but he's still a lot closer than he was, that's for sure. We've got yellow flags. I'm not sure who that's for, but a lot of cars struggling for grip now as we head through Sector 1. Here is where we're going to see who has the drier setups, who's going to struggle more. I would keep an eye on this man, Nemesis. He looked lightning quick in the dryer. Scott's binned it. Scott's out the race. He's binned it at the same place that Drogon did under the safety car, and now we have a virtual safety car this time to neutralise things once again. But only temporarily this time, or for less time I should say. Drivers have to keep to a delta. As Kevin looks to get underway. I think green flags are coming out relatively soon if Kevin's going that quickly through turn 10, but maybe not. Got to time it right here. Kevin definitely wants to time it right because he wants to find that 3-second gap to Robsu, but they're all having to slow down again into the final sector. Still no green flags in sight, so they've still got to keep to this delta. Is anyone going to make a mistake in terms of going too early and getting a drive through here? That's what we've got to watch out for. Robsu just behind Kevin as they head down to turn 1. They look like they're going full pace, but Yeah, actually slowing down a lot into turn 1, so still no signs of the green flags for now. As everyone jostling for position, is going to be jostling for position as soon as they do come out. Kevin holding firm, but that 3-second penalty he has to gain, and Jacko is the first to blink and the only one to blink. A drive-through penalty for the Season 11 champion as he mistimes the VSC restart. He will be absolutely gutted because he was having a great drive up to that point. Enchilada is going to want to get past because he knows Jacko's going to have to serve that drive-through. Triku getting past Rob Rubialski as well. They're side by side through turn 6. Oh, and Trigger's rounded into the wall. No front left end plate now for him. And another disaster has befallen a driver. Koru now on the inside of Denko. He makes a move. Lawrence now gets a 3-second time penalty, and that opens up the door for RJ to get on the podium here. Nemesis is really struggling for pace on his dryer setup. But Jacko has kept Enchilada at bay for now. Ench struggling through turn 12 with Koru just behind as well. They're all possibly in the mix for a podium here because of Lawrence's time penalty. But Enchilada Dad will inherit this position from Jacko. There goes the Scottish driver into the pits for that drive-through. He'll be absolutely devastated with that. But it does promote Ench to P6, and now Nemesis is next on his list. RJ looking like he could get a podium in Tier 2 here. We might have to shuffle some tiers after this week, shuffle some people around. But Kevin now 1.1 ahead of Robsu. He's doing what he needs to do to still win this race. But Robsu is doing everything he can to stay within that 3-second range. We know how quick he is around here in the wet. We saw it yesterday. Lawrence holding firm as well, but that penalty going to be oh so costly in the end by the looks of things. Nemesis, oh, Ench very wide there at turn 6, but it will have set him up very nicely for the next run to turn 9. But he's not close enough on this occasion. Doesn't have the ERS to battle as Rubialski now gets ahead of Denko. And yeah, Alex is right in the chat. We did also see Robsu's pace in these conditions and qualifying as well, of course, just about 45 minutes ago. But Koru now practically pushing Enchilada through turn 12. Enchilada right behind Nemesis as well, who's struggling big time. Lawrence might well still be able to get P4 here, but RJ's in prime position. Here comes Enchilada. Can he make a move into turn 1? Remember, Nemesis, though, has got such good straight line speed. Even if he's slow in the corners, it's going to be tough to overtake him on the run to turn 1, for example. As Sumo right behind Tier now. Another good recovery, it's looking like, for the British driver after last week as well. And Koru makes a move up to 6th place into turn 1. A lovely move from the Mercedes driver. And now Nemesis is next up for him. Enchilada down to 7th. And Nemesis now has got a different front wing in his rear mirrors. It is the Mercedes of Koru, who had such a horrible time last week. Only picked up, I think it was either 1 or 2 points last week on his first race back in APPF1 since Season 6. He heads through turn 6 now. But he's too far behind, I think, the Red Bull to make any sort of move. He's going to have to do something quite remarkable to clear this Red Bull, I think, because, like I said, even if Nemesis is slow in the corners, it's the straights that are going to be so difficult to deal with him. As Jacko picks up a track limits penalty, it looks like he's going to go without any points today, unfortunately for him. Denko picking up another time penalty as well, as Robsu is sticking with Kevin. Nemesis and Koru. Koru's gone for it on the inside of turn 12. There's big contact. They're both in the wall. Nemesis has got almost no front wing. Enchilada up to P5 takes full advantage, but the contact between the two, disastrous, and Nemesis will be absolutely devastated. Into the pits he goes. He'll be furious in his Red Bull, but that low downforce setup has ended up costing him in the end. He pits for fresh tyres and a new front wing, but he's going to be out the points, I think, today as a result of that. Yeah, that promotes Jacko back into the points, just about. But oh goodness me, I think the stewards are going to have a busy week today. After today, Robsu still sticking with Kevin. What a stellar job this man is doing. And Lawrence is starting to gap RJ. The battle for the podium is not yet over. 1.5 seconds. He needs to double that gap to secure that podium. Sumo in 11th place. Alex saying he's in a net P8. The penalty for Denko is 6 seconds, so I think he is indeed in a net P8. It's very close, perhaps. But Koru now, 6th place. He's looking for the inside for P5 again on Enchiladad this time, but he can't make the move into turn 9. He backs out just in time. And now Enchilada keeping the position, but Rubialski in the background as well. He's had a great recovery this race too, don't forget. He was down in the dumps for a lot of this race in the sort of latter half of the grid, but now in 7th place and could manage to nab another position or two if he plays his cards right in these last couple of laps. 2 laps to go. Kevin still leads from Robsu, who's still in range of that 3-second time penalty. Lawrence is struggling now. He may have gapped RJ the last couple of laps, but the Americans come back at him, and it's back just over a second. And RJ now looking to secure his first podium in Tier 2 this season. Koru just behind Ench as well. Jacko making a move around the outside of JB, who's had an awful race today through turn 1. It's a good move from Jacko. He's up to 14th, but he's got to pull 3 seconds in 2 laps if he wants to keep those 2 points for himself. Robsu now losing a bit of time on this lap, 1.3, but it's still just enough. And look at the pace he gains down towards turn 9. Nearly back under a second. And Robsu is doing everything he can here. RJ now 1.7 behind Lawrence. He's been gapped here down towards turn 9 and 10. But comes back at him on the run to 12. Just 1 and a little bit more laps left to go for RJ to secure this podium and for Robsu to secure an unlikely win. Kevin was over 10 seconds clear at one point in this race and is looking like he might lose out. Jacko making another move meanwhile, this time on aces, up to 13th. But again, that penalty is going to come back to bite him, I think, towards the end. The rain's really coming down now. It's quite wet out there. It really is, and those inters must be getting more and more difficult to drive on. We're on to the final lap of this chaotic, all over the place Australian Grand Prix. RJ's back in range of Lawrence. Rubialski now picks up a penalty, but it's not going to affect him in terms of his current position. It'll just mean he's out of the battle for 5th place, but it's still a good recovery from him today. As RJ Blair heading through the middle sector, he's still just about in range, as is Robsu. It's all a battle of penalties for the top 4. Enchilada holding firm from Koru. There's no real other battles on track other than the one for 14th place. JB right behind Aces as they head through the middle sector. Or the first sector, excuse me, as Aces into the wall there at turn 5, and surely that's a move for JB. He pulls to the inside. Aces has got no turning whatsoever, and JB up to 14th place, so salvages another point. But Kevin is coming through the last few corners here, but unfortunately for him, he's got Robsu for company. Can Robsu make it 2 wins from 2? Just 1 corner to go. And Kevin is going to lead us to the line in the Australian Grand Prix, but it's Robsu who wins the Australian Grand Prix for the 2nd time in 2 days. Lawrence cannot pull the 3 seconds to RJ in the end. He loses the podium. RJ Blair finishes in 3rd, shares a podium with Robsu for the 2nd time this week as well. Enchilada takes home 5th place, holds off Koru in the end with Rubialski in 7th. Denko P8, then Cavalier Sentir, but where's Sumo going to be up to the penalties? 9th. He gets up into the top 10 once again for the 2nd week in a row after a recovery drive. Jacko comes home in 14th place after JB gets him on penalties. And Aces comes home for the final point. Popito gets some points as well in 12th place there. But this man is not going to be a happy bunny. Nemesis. It all went wrong right at the end. and it's no points for the Red Bull driver. Oof. Don't go away, everyone. We will have interviews with the top three. Well, I said the top three. It will be RJ and Robsu that we'll have interviews with, as Kevin's on PC. But there we have it. Again, giving Rubielski driver of the day. I'm going to give it, I think, to Robsu today. I think he fully deserves it. What a drive it was. And his wet pace was unbelievable, just like it was yesterday. So Robsu driver of the day and the race winner here in Australia with Kevin P2 today out of nowhere. Thanks to that safety car, but I think there's going to be some conversations happening perhaps. RJ Blair finishes in 3rd place. What a drive from him. Lawrence in 4th with Enchilada finishing in 5th place with the fastest lap as well. So an extra point to him. Koru in 6th place with Rubielski P7. Denko in the top 8. Suma recovering to 9th place. And Cavalis recovering to 10th as well. With Tia, Popito, JB, Jackalacco and Aces, the last of the point scorers. Nemesis will be gutted with 16th. Triku even more so with 17th. And then Scott, Drogon and True Loki God unable to finish the race. Woof. So, we will be having interviews with the top 3. So, let's get that started. I need to add RJ to the group first. That would help. So, looking forward to speaking with RJ. It's been quite some time. Here he is, just waiting for Robsu. Robsu's on his way. And here is our race winner. Welcome to the podium room, you two. It's since it's been a little bit of a while, especially for you, RJ. Just make sure you check your settings in the party. Just go into the party voice chat, click the 3 dots that say more, and then go into voice chat settings, and then make sure that share your voice is set to allow. But other than that, I will get started. Robsu, what a win, what a result. 2 wins in 2 days in Australia, and a great qualifying to boot as well. 2 years of struggling in qualifying, and he puts it on the front row and wins the race. What a day for you.
Yes. Whew. Oh my god, I mean, what do I say? I mean, yesterday was just, well, I'd say, probably my, best race overall for a long time. I mean, it was just, everything kind of clicked for me, and I was very surprised with my pace in the rain also. But I mean, other than my pace was good and everything else, but most importantly for me yesterday and today actually was that I had 0 penalties, which has been one of my things to work on, let's say. But I mean, yeah, surprised, super happy. I mean, just kind of, I don't know. I don't know. feels kind of surreal actually.
Oh well, I mean, it was an incredible drive from start to finish. Obviously, was that a good qualifying lap, do you think, or did you feel there was more in it? Were you disappointed?
There was actually more in it. The last lap, I think it's the sector 2. I messed up there quite much, so I'd say I probably would have been P2 if that would have been clean lap, but for pole, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh well, obviously the race got going. It was dry for much of it, of course, and Kevin was well clear of everyone else in that dry stint. But you had a great battle with Lawrence, didn't you?
Oh yes, I did. Yes, I did. He was pushing me pretty much, and yeah, I mean, well, I thought that, you know, once I did the overtake, I just thought that, well, now's a chance, I'm gonna make most of it. And, well, I gotta say, I was very sure that Lawrence is gonna overtake me in a couple of laps, but I managed to hold him off, so I'm pretty pleased with that also. So yeah, but Kevin, the race winner, was obviously, you know, in his own league today, I'd say so.
But you stayed with him in the wet, didn't you? And
Yeah. Well, true.
Does this mean you're going to be doing a rain dance for all the races to come in this season?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Oh dear. Well, for your sake, I hope it's torrential next week in Belgium. Is it Belgium? Did I get that right? I think it's Belgium.
I think it's yeah.
It is Belgium. Yeah, I was, because it's Belgium in PSGL as well. So I was like, am I thinking of PSGL?
Oh.
No, it's just both. But yeah, congratulations again, Robsu. Fantastic to see you back on the top step. It's been quite some time in Tier 2, and enjoy it. Congrats.
Thank you. I mean, just gonna say briefly here, but I mean, you know, after all this, well, last season or last year in the, last year's game, and you know, after all the struggle and you know, disappointing results and so on, this kind of feels a kind of a reward also, or some kind of that. I don't know. I'm kind of loss of words right now. Really difficult to put it in the words, kind of, but well, I think you know what I'm talking about here. So
yeah. No worries. Enjoy it, Robsu. Congratulations once again.
Thank you, Ghost. Thank you.
And well, I will move on to our third place finisher. RJ, it's been a while. It has been quite some time since I've spoken to you on a podium interview. I know I said it's been some time for Robsu, but for you it's probably been well over a year and a half, I would say. So it must be good to be back, and what a drive to do it.
Yeah, thanks, Ghost. Hello, everybody. It has been quite a while. It was probably at least a year since did league, not probably a year, but 8 months probably at least since I did league racing. So the last few weeks have been really fun. I guess the tracks we've picked have been pretty decent for me. I've liked the last two tracks, but today was so much fun to race. Tier 2 is always, in my opinion, not to make other tiers jealous, but I think Tier 2 is the best in terms of competitiveness amongst the pack. Tier 1's absolutely insane pace, but you know, I love the Tier 3 introduction as well this year to get more racers in, but Tier 2 definitely delivered again today. I was just really excited to show the pace I had. Was able to make some pretty sweet overtakes, and then the dramatic rain comes in with a couple of safety cars, and all of a sudden it's fireworks at the end. Big shout out to Robsu. Holy rocket ship. I mean, like yesterday also as well. That was insane. I have no idea how you had that pace yesterday, and even today I was stunned to see that you had beaten, you had overtaken Kevin there at the end with that late safety car. Big shout out to both of you, because both of you guys clearly had the best pace today, and to Lawrence as well with the unlucky penalty. His penalty is the only reason why I'm here, so he definitely had great pace today, but a lot of fun today on the track, and just didn't have any penalties, which is a common theme. If I have a good race and I don't spin, I don't have any penalties, good, funny thing, good things tend to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like I said, it's great to have you back, and you've been flying in Tier 3 as well the last couple of weeks, and heading here to Tier 2 as a reserve driver. You kind of been expecting a podium, but it looked like you deserved it today. You had, obviously, midway through the race, there was that bit of an off you had, which cost you quite a bit, and you lost the DRS, but the safety car brought you right back in it. And how difficult was it in those conditions towards the end is, I think, the biggest question on everyone's minds, because it really looked like the rain got very bad towards the end.
Yeah, I'll answer that question, but before I forget, shout out to Sumo for another recovery, 9th place, and being a teammate. It was a pleasure to race with him. It was really hard at the end. I mean, it was inters, and I dove into the pits at the right time. I did spin in the last corner. That last corner is my worst enemy on this track. But I was able to slide into the pits at the perfect time, right as it started raining. The inters were great until about lap 25, and then it was pretty much like driving on ice skates, because it was probably the hardest rain I've ever seen in this game in the last 2 or 3 laps. I was honestly just trying to keep it together, and I think Lawrence just kind of kept me there to keep pushing. He had the 3-second penalties, so could have easily just let off and had him FP3, but the racer in me said no, I had to fight, and luckily didn't spin and got a good result after fighting at the end there.
Yeah, you did indeed. So congratulations once again, RJ. And obviously Tier 3 for now is going to be your main focus. I think we're going to have a little bit of shuffling around because, new game, pace is a bit all over the place for some people. But at least for now, I think you seem right at home in Tier 2 and 3 at the moment. And are you enjoying this new game so far? You said you've had a blast the last few weeks, but in terms of the handling model, the tyre model, how are you finding it so far?
Oh, it's great. I also, I really like it a lot. The wets is so much stress driving on the wets, which is probably how it is in real life. Wouldn't know, never driven an F1 car, but I'll also say that I was able to adjust some wheel settings in terms of input sensitivity that I didn't do in years past. So I feel a little bit even more in control of the car now. So to not ramble on like I've done in your last 2 questions, I feel a lot more connected with the car.
Oh, you're all good. Well, congratulations again, RJ, and I hope to see you on the podium a couple more times this season.
Oh, I hope to be speaking to you after races a lot this year's goes. So, thank you for commentating again, and remember to allow to replay to Twitch because I want to watch this as soon as it's done.
Yeah, don't worry, they'll all be uploaded to YouTube as well afterwards or later on. So you won't lose any of these streams. I just prefer to stream on Twitch at the moment. So
thank you, sir.
No worries at all. Congratulations again. And that is going to wrap it up for this week. So an absolutely chaotic race here in Melbourne today. I hope you all enjoyed watching. I certainly did in the commentary box. And we'll be back, as I alluded to, next week with Spa in Belgium, the absolute classic circuit in Spa-Francorchamps. So we will see you there. But until then, have a great rest of your week, everyone. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.